love techno cunt. Salam, bonjour, gumo, hello. This is another episode of Love Techno Cunt with yours truly, Armin. Today with an episode that is very dear to my heart. Actually, every episode is very dear to my heart, so what am I even saying? But this one is very close to who I'm being perceived as in the world. And it's about my heritage, my Afghan heritage. Me being Afghan, me being born in diaspora, born and raised as a second generation child, coming from Afghan immigrants to Germany, and what it means to live that life here, and what it means to be in Berlin with Afghan community, looking for Afghan community, etc. So maybe I'll start a bit about my background and my family's background. So my family, my parents, are both from Kabul, which is the capital of Afghanistan, and they were both raised in, I feel, different social classes. Like my father comes from a quite poor background, and my mother was more wealthy, and they have quite similar upbringings, but also I've gotten to know a lot about Afghan culture through their stories, but also through my grandparents' stories and what they have been gone through. And I feel like being born in Germany after my parents fled Afghanistan in the 80s, and me being born in the 90s, I was quite in the mix of being German and Afghan. Like my parents always made sure to remind me what it means to be Afghan, cooking Afghan cuisine, inviting cousins over, family over. My parents, they have a lot of brothers and sisters, and so family was always something that was very close to me. And from a very young age, I also learned our language, Dari, which is one of the many languages existing in Afghanistan. Since Afghanistan is a very multi-ethnic country with a lot of languages, cultures, and ethnic groups. Like Dari is the main language that we speak, and it's the language that I learn how to speak, but not write, sadly. At one point in my life, I want to learn the calligraphy and the writing and reading, but it is a lot of work to be done. So, and last episode I talked about me breaking off contact with my parents because of them not having dealt with their generational trauma, which is something that is also part of Afghans in general, that Afghanistan has endured a lot of trauma, a lot of colonialism, a lot of bullshit throughout the decades, throughout the centuries. And we are a deeply traumatized country, but a country full of poetry, love, culture, community, and fighting spirit. And that's how I perceive myself and how I identify myself as an Afghan, as a fighter, as someone who comes from people who are war-torn, who have been stripped away from so many things by the Soviets, the British, the French, and by the Taliban now. Like the Taliban are the terrorist organization that rules Afghanistan right now, due to, well, I won't get into the history. I mean, you can all read it on the internet. But I blame it on the West. I blame it completely on the West, on the imperial states, to have neglected Afghanistan for so long and not have taken proper responsibility on stabilizing it and exploiting it. But that's about the politics and the economics. Like I'm not gonna get deep into that. For me, it's more important to explain who I feel as an Afghan in diaspora, and why I always say, when I'm asked in the club where I'm from, I always say I'm from Afghanistan, even though I was born and raised in Germany. Because it means so much to me to represent. It means so much to me to show people that there's so much to be known about this country. We're not just refugees who come here and have no story to tell. We're not just here to escape. We're meant to live. We're meant to live our beautiful selves. We are a country of singers, of poets. We play so many instruments, from the tabla, the drums that we play, to the accordions. Our music and dancing is so ingrained in us. When I think about, I get emotional. When I think about Afghan culture, I think about beautiful dances and how I get to show that on the dance floor here in techno clubs. And it is something that I want to show to the world. And that's one of the reasons why I moved to Berlin, is to find community here. And I'm sorry, I gotta collect myself for a second. Find community here and see what else it can bring besides the trauma that our generations have brought up, and how I can heal for my ancestors and my parents. So my Afghan identity is something that I fight for, something that I want to learn by, and I'm so grateful to have met very intelligent, smart, and queer Afghans here in Berlin, who I've been actively seeking out and connecting with to find some family, to find some queerness, to find people who share the same story and who understand my story, and who will fight alongside me when I go to protests, when I do activism, who can also teach me a lot about my own heritage. Like, there's so much I don't know about Afghanistan, there's so much I want to explore. So I'm desperately always seeking for little hints and glimpses of what I'm missing. Like, for example, I have this necklace that I love to wear, which is blue, and it reminds me of lapis lazuli, which I would consider the national gem of the gemstone of Afghanistan. And I think it only exists there, but maybe in some other countries too. So yeah, I'm always looking for little things, Afghan things here in Berlin, seeking out restaurants to support, even though, of course, my family cooks them better, but it's not a competition. But yeah, once you have that nostalgic taste in your mouth of how Afghan food, like the rice, the aubergines, what's it called, the eggplants, the spinach. We have so much different food that like has a nostalgic taste in my mouth that I can't really compare it when I go to the Afghan restaurants. But anyway, I go anyway because I love to support them. And yeah, every family, every cuisine has their own a little twist to how they do these dishes. And I always say culture lives through food and dance and music. That's how cultures in this world are exchanged and how they connect with each other and how we can appreciate them, as well as through fashion and all these other things. But like, I feel like for me specifically, I enjoy culture through food and dance and music. Well, I also prepared some questions. Let me just ask me. So, how have the stories of my parents and the trauma they carried with them shaped how I understand myself and where I come from? So my father specifically, he fled Afghanistan when he was 14, and he didn't tell much about his escape route or how he's come to Germany specifically, but I believe he has seen a lot of war, a lot of horrible things throughout the road and before, and that's why he was always so keen to protect and support and empower other refugees coming to Germany. That's something that was always dear to his heart, and something that he also taught me from a very young age, is to look after other people who come here to Germany to seek out safety. And yeah, that's what I feel like is a responsibility in my heart, to, I don't want to say I'm not grateful for being in Germany. I'm grateful that my parents did what they did. I'm grateful that I get to experience that. To me, seeking asylum, opening the borders, helping people from other countries is not something that the refugees should be grateful for. This is human rights. And let's not forget the history of why these countries are war-torn. It's because of Western countries exploiting them, colonizing them, and now having these consequences. So I will never expect some sort of gratitude. Like and I also will not give it, because there's no gratitude to be given to these countries. But there will be solidarity. And that's what I also want to put out in the world, is like, please, let's see refugees, asylum seekers and migrants as people who want to come here, and they are so traumatized. They have so much to endure, and every person coming here has a value and wants to build a life, and they don't choose voluntarily to leave their country. Everyone would love to stay in their country and in their culture. But the world is so complex, and damage is so complex, that we can't even fathom what they've gone through. And then they come here to the borders and are being rejected, and are not allowed to bring their family, and are being deported back. And not only here, but even in the neighboring countries like Iran and Pakistan, and who have, of course, their own horrible regimes. But there's so much racism against Afghans there, and so much deportations there, that Afghans are nowhere safe. Like, there's nowhere safe to go. So I want to make a special case here to protect refugees, to stop deportations, and to make ourselves aware of that these are people at the end of the day, no matter where they come from, and no matter what they've gone through. Nobody would choose to traumatize themselves and to go through that shit. And the second big thing that I want to address of why I'm standing so strongly behind Afghanistan and my heritage is the things that Afghan women have to go through right now. The media doesn't show it, because German media specifically doesn't care about Afghanistan, because there's not much to be gained from there. There's no money, there's no oil. It's just a poor country left to rot with the Taliban. That's what Germany and the West thinks about it. But if you look deeply, Afghan women are heavily, heavily repressed. They're not allowed to speak with each other. They're not allowed to hear music. They're not allowed to go to schools. They're not allowed to do anything without husband's consent. They must fully cover themselves in burqas. My heart breaks thinking of what they go through. And this is also why I stand so strongly for the feminist cause. And feminism cannot just only encompass white women. We have to think about every woman in this country and in this world, and make ourselves raise awareness for these causes, because media won't show us. That's why I make it a task of mine to raise awareness. Well, I think I have to stop this episode. I didn't think that this would get so emotional. But, well, as you can see, this is a very emotional topic for me, and the fight will keep going. And this is my message to every Afghan, or to every migrant person, or every VIPOC coming to another country and who's fighting and struggling, is that I see you and I am here for you.